Bottle, Chapter 1, A Find. It was freezing at the beach, but Emily did not care. The beach had always been Pitch's favorite place. He'd been catching seagulls if he were here. Now she thought, why did he have to die? Angrily, Emily snatched up a stick, driftwood, and threw it into the sand dunes. There was a loud ting as she hit something which startled her. She went to investigate. The stick was lying beside a partly buried bottle which Emily carefully uncovered. The bottle was dark green and it was sparkling in the sunlight. It looked old-fashioned and mysterious. Emily lifted the bottle out of the sand and held it up in the sun. To her surprise, she saw that there was something inside. Cool, she said to herself, a message in a bottle. She tried to pull the cork off the top of the bottle, but it was jammed tight. Maybe Mum will be able to open it, she said. She slipped the bottle into her pocket and headed home.
Once upon a time, there lived 3 bears. They lived in a cottage in the middle of the forest. One day, they went for a walk, but Baby Bear forgot to close the door properly. Close by, a little girl was walking through the forest.
Mrs. Twit said, "It'll bite off your nose." Mrs. Twit leapt out of bed and flew downstairs and spent the night on the sofa. The frog went to sleep on her pillow, I say. The wormy spaghetti. The next day, to pay Mrs. Twit back for a frog trip, Mrs. Twit would sneak into the garden and dug up some worms. She chose a big long one and put them in the tin and carried the tin back to the house under her apron. At 1 o'clock she cooked spaghetti for lunch and she mixed the worms in with the spaghetti, but only on her husband's plate. The worms didn't show because everything was covered in tomato sauce and sprinkled with cheese. "Hey, my spaghetti's moving!" cried Mr. Twit, poking around in it with his foot. "It's of you kind," Mrs. Twit said, taking a mouthful of her, which of course had no worms. It's called squiggly spaghetti. It's delicious. Eat it up while it's nice and hot." Mr. Twit started eating, twisting long tomato-covered strings around his fork and shoveling them into his mouth. Soon there was a tomato sauce all over his hairy chin. "It's not as good as the ordinary kind," he said, talking with his mouth full. "It's too squishy. I find it very tasty," Mrs. Twit said. She was watching him from the other end of the table. It gave her great pleasure to watch him eating worms. "I find it rather bitter," Mr. Twit said. "It's got a distinct bitter flavour. Buy the other kind next time." Mr. Twit waited until Mr. Twit had eaten the whole plateful. Then he said, "I want to know why your spaghetti was so squishy." Mr. Twit wiped the smart crystals from his beard with the corner of the tablecloth. Why? He said. And why? It has a nasty bitter taste. Why? He said. Because there was worms! Cried Mrs. Twit, clapping her hands and stamping her feet on the floor, and rocking her with horrible laughter. The funny walking stick. To pay Mrs. Twit back for the worms in his spaghetti, Mrs. Twit thought up a really clever nasty trick. One night, the old woman was asleep. He crept out of bed and took her walking stick downstairs to his rough shed. There he stuck a tiny round piece of wood, no thicker than a penny, onto the bottom of the stick. This made the stick longer, but the difference was so small. The next morning, Mrs. Twit didn't notice it. The following night, Mrs. Twit stuck on another tiny bit of wood.
Chapter 25 Under the Pillow. Ah! Shouted the figure, before adding, Please, please, don't hurt me. It was the unmistakable voice of Raj. Alfie lit the candle by his bed with a match, and brought it closer to the shadowy shape. It was the unmistakable face of Raj. The panic over. Alfie swallowed hard and croaked. Raj, what on earth are you doing here? You frightened me, exclaimed the newsagent. You frightened me more, replied the boy. Well, I think you frightened me more. No, you actually frightened me more. No, no, no. You definitely 100% frightened me more, protested Raj. And no returns. There was little point arguing with the man. The newsagent was well known for being frightened easily. Local gossip had it he once ran out of his shop screaming after he swore he saw one of his two-p jelly snakes moving. Hello everybody, today I'm going to be reading the BFG by Roald Dahl. There are 24 chapters in this book, and I'm on the 21st, called The Plan. The head of the army and the head of the air force stood at attention beside the Queen's breakfast table. Sophie was still in her seat, and the BFG was still high up on his crazy perch. It took the Queen only 5 minutes to explain the situation to the military man. I knew there was something like this going on, Your Majesty, the head of the army said. For the last 10 years, we have been getting reports from nearly every country in the world about people disappearing mysteriously in the night. We had one earlier the other day from Panama. For the Huttie's sake, cried the BFG. And one from Wellington in New Zealand, said the head of the army. For the beauty flavour, cried the BFG. What is he talking about? The head of the Air Force said. Work it out for yourself, the Queen said. What time is it? 10 a.m. In 8 hours, those 9 bloodthirsty brutes will be galloping off to gobble up another couple of dozen unfortunate wretches. They have to be stopped. We must act fast. We'll bomb the blighters, shouted the head of the Air Force. We'll mow them down with machine guns, cried the head of the army. I do not approve of murder, the Queen said. But they are murderers themselves, cried the head of the army. That is no reason why we should follow their example, the Queen said. 2 wrongs don't make a right, and 2 rights don't make a left, cried the BFG. We must bring them back alive, the Queen said. How? The 2 military men said. They're all 50 feet high. They knock us down like 9-pins. Wait, cried BFG. Hold your horseflies, keep your skirts on. I think I has the answer to the maiden's hair. Let him speak, the Queen said. Every afternoon, BFG said, all these giants is in the land of Noddy. I can't understand a word this fellow's saying, the head of the army said. Why doesn't he speak clearly? He means the land of Nod, Sophie said. It's pretty obvious. Exactly, cried the BFG. Every afternoon, All these 9 giants is lying on the ground, snoozling away in the very deep sleep. There is always resting like that before there is galloping off to gotten another helping of human beings. Go on, they said. So what? So what you soldiers have to do is to creep up to the giants while they assail the land of Noddy and tie the arms and legs of mighty ropes and wanking chains. Brilliant, the Queen said. That's all very well, said the head of the army, but how do we get the Brits back here? We can't load 50-foot giants onto traps. Shoot 'em on the spot, that's what I say. The BFG looked down from his lofty perch and said, this time to the head of the Air Force, you is having belly poppers, is he not? Is he being freed? The head of the Air Force said. He means helicopters, said Sophie told him. Then why doesn't he say so? Of course we have helicopters. Whoopsie big belly poppers, asked the BFG. Very big ones, the head of the Air Force said, proudly. But no helicopter is big enough to get a giant like that inside. You don't put them inside, the BFG said. You sling him underneath the belly of your belly popper and carry him like torpedo. Like a what? Said the head of the Air Force. Like a torpedo, Sophie said. Could you do that, Air Marshal? Queen said. Well, I suppose we could, the head of the Air Force said, admitted grudgingly. Then get cracking, the Queen said. You'll need 9 helicopters for one each giant. Where is this place? The Air Force man said to the BFG. I presume you can pinpoint it on the map. Pinpoint, said the BFG. Map? I've never been hearing these words before. Is the Air Force been talking slush bungle? The Air Marshal's face turned the colour of a ripe plum. He was not used to being told he was slush bungle. The Queen, with her usual admirable tact and good sense, came to the rescue. BFG, she said, can you tell us more or less where this giant country is? No, Magister, BFG said, not on my Nelly. Then we're jiggered, cried the Army General. This is ridiculous, cried the Air Marshal. You must not give up so easily, the BFG said calmly. The first teaching obstacle you meet and you begin shouting, he is Biff Squiggled. The Army General was no more used to being insulted than the Air Marshal. His face began to swell with fury, and his cheeks blew out until they looked like 2 huge ripe tomatoes. Your Majesty, he cried, we are dealing with a lunatic. I want nothing more to do with this ridiculous operation. The Queen, who was used to the tantrums of her senior officials, ignored him completely. BFG, she said, would you please tell these rather dim-witted characters exactly what to do? A pleasure, Magister, said the BFG. Now listen to me carefully, you 2 boot bugglers. A pleasure, Magister. The military men began to twitch, but they stayed put. I is not having the foggiest idea where giant country is in the world, the BFG said, but I is always able to gallop there. I is galloping forthwards and backwards from giant country every night to blow my dreams into little children's bedrooms. I is knowing the way very well. So all you has to do is this. Picture 9 belly poppers in the air and let them follow me as I is galloping along. How long will the journey take? The Queen asked. If we is leaving now, the BFG said, we will be arriving just as the giant is having their afternoon schnozzle. Splendid, said the Queen. Then turning it to 2 military men, she said, prepare to leave immediately. The head of the army, who was feeling pretty muffled by the whole business, said, That's all very well, Your Majesty, but what are we going to do with the blighters once we've got them back? Don't you worry about that, the Queen said. We'll be ready for them. Hurry up now, off we go. If it pleases your majesty, Sophie said, I should like to ride with the BFG to keep him company. Where will you sit? Asked the queen. In his ear, Sophie said. Show them, BFG. The BFG got down from his high chair. He picked Sophie up in his fingers. He swiveled his huge right ear until it was parallel with the ground. Then he placed Sophie gently inside it. The head of the army and the air force stood there goggling. The queen smiled. You really are rather a wonderful giant, she said. Majesty, the BFG said, I is wishing to ask a very special thing from you. What is it? The queen said. Could I please bring back here in the belly poppers all my collection of dreams? They is taking me years and years to collect, and I is not wanting to lose them. Why, of course, the queen said. I wish you a safe journey.
Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss. I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am. That Sam I am. I do not like that Sam I am. Do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Not in a box, not with a fox, not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you, could you, in a car, eat them? Eat them. Here they are. I would not, could not in a car. You may like them. You will see. You may like them in a tree. I would not, could not in a tree, not in a car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham.
Stickman by Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler. Stickman lives in the family tree with his stick lady love and their stick children 3. One day he wakes early and goes for a jog. Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the dog. A stick, barks the dog, an excellent stick, the right kind of stick for my favourite trick. I'll fetch it and drop it, and then I'll drop it and fetch it and drop it again. I'm not a stick, can't you see? I'm Stickman, that's me, and I want to go back to the family tree. A notice says dogs must be kept on a lead. At last the game's over and Stickman is freed. He sets off for home with a hop and a twirl. Stickman, oh Stickman, beware of the girl. A stick, cries the girl with a smile on her face, the right kind of poo stick for winning the race. Has everyone got one? Get ready to throw. It's 1, 2, 3, into the river they go. I'm not a stick, why can't they see? I'm Stickman, that's me, and I'm heading back to the family tree.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid Toddler. Monday. Mum's always saying that friends will come and go, but family is forever. Well, if that's true, I could be in for a rough ride. I mean, I love my family and all, but I'm just not sure we're meant to live together. Maybe it'll be better later on when we're all in different houses and only see each other on holidays. But right now, things are just getting a little dicey. I'm surprised Mum's always pushing the family message, since she and her sisters don't really get along. Maybe she thinks if she keeps repeating it to me and my brother, then we will come out different. But if I was her, I wouldn't hold my breath. I think Mum's just trying to make me feel better about my situation with Rowley anyway. Rowley's been my best friend ever since he moved into my neighborhood. But things have really changed between us recently, and it's all because of a girl. Believe me, the last person in the world I would ever thought would get a girlfriend was Rowley. I always thought I'd be the one in a relationship, and Rowley would be the guy everyone kind of felt sorry for. Greg Jr., would you like to give a hot dog to Mr. Rowley? Yes, Papa. I guess I've got to give Rowley some credit for actually finding a girl who likes him, but I don't have to be happy about it. Back in the good old days, it was just me and Rowley, and we hung out and did whatever we wanted. If we felt like blowing bubbles in our chocolate milk at lunch, then that's exactly what we did. But now there's a girl in the picture things are totally different. That's immature! Well, wherever Rowley is, his girlfriend Abigail is too. And even if she isn't there, it seems like she is. I invited Riley to my house for a sleepover last weekend, so the two of us could spend some time together. But after about 2 hours, I gave up trying to have any fun. No, you're cuter. Hee hee hee. And when the two of them are in the same place, it's even worse. Ever since Rowley and Abigail got together, it's like Rowley doesn't even have his own options anymore. So what did you think of that new movie? Oh, we didn't care for that one. I was hoping this would have all been blown over by now and things would be back to normal. But there's no sign of this ending anytime soon. If you ask me, it's already gone too far. I've started noticing little changes in Rowley, like the way he combs his hair and the clothes he wears, and I guarantee you, Abigail is behind all of that. But I'm the one who's been best friends with Rowley all these years, so if anyone has the right to change him, it's me. I just don't get how you can go from being someone's best friend to getting kicked to the curb. But that's exactly what happened. During the winter, me and Rowley stored up some snowballs in my freezer so we could have a snowball fight when the weather got warm. Well, yesterday was the first nice day we've had in forever. But when I went over to Rowley's house, He acted like he was too good for me. Sorry, we're occupied at the moment. This thing is, I can honestly say I've been nice to Abigail, but she doesn't like me. She's been trying to drive a wedge between me and Rowley ever since the two of them became a couple. But whenever I'm trying to bring the topic up with Rowley, I get the same thing every time. You're just jealous. I wish I could give Rowley a piece of my mind, but I can't because I'm depending on him to get me through the school year. I have Mr. Blackerly for English, and he makes us turn all our assignments in cursive. But it really hurts my hand when I write in cursive for too long. So I've been paying Rowley 1 peanut butter cracker for every page that he transcribes for me. But if I have to start writing my own assignments, for the handwriting on my homework won't be the same as before, and Mr. Blackerly will know. So I'm stuck with Rowley, at least until I can find someone who can write exactly like him and who also likes peanut butter crackers. But the biggest problem with Abigail's situation isn't the English homework, it's the walk to school. Me and Rowley used to head in together every morning, but now Rowley goes over to Abigail's neighborhood and walks to school with her. This is an issue for a couple of reasons. For one, me and Rowley have a deal where he's in charge of scouting ahead for dog poop on the pavement, and that arrangement he saved me a bunch of times. Scream! Phew! There was this one dog that really has it in for me and Rowley, and we have to keep our guard up whenever.
But poor Neville didn't get far. He was captured by what shadow spirits and taken to the Facilia. Much good obliged, gentleman said. Facilia, to the shadows. With the magic revealed in the talisman, Lawrence came back into the Facilia. Look, Neville. Inside, a small chest, a great heart.
A poor old fox has lost his sock. He looks in a chest and he finds his vest. On it goes, where I've got cold toes. Under the stair, it's a shirt to wear. But the shirt goes on, but I've got my socks, but my socks, they're gone. In a cupboard, up his bow, he finds the bow. The tie looks neat, but I've got bare foot. Under the mat, he finds his hat. But where are my socks? Says poor old fox. He looks in the clock and finds his sock. But fox needs two. What can he do?
I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry, I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue, it might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched, my ankle's sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold, my toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is... What? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye, I'm going out to play.
Mom is cooking. Mom is cooking. Mom is driving. Mom is swimming. Mom is digging. Mom is throwing. Mom is reading. Mom is sleeping.
Today we read Morse. Today we read Basic Big Say. I read Easy Basic. So Sam the human blitz. Sam said, and they all got the giggles. A drip of chocolate the corner of Sam's mouth. He licked it off. The Joe would hooked a giant wooden spoon with all of toots. They were scraping up the last to cake of Sam's head with a piglet stuck it in. She was holding rabbit.
The witch had a cat, and a very tall hat, and long ginger hair, which she wore in a plait. How the cat purred, and how the witch grinned, as they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed, and how the cat spat, when the wind blew so wildly, it blew off her hat. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat to be found. Then out of the bushes, on thundering paws, there bounded a dog with the hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely, but eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, I am a dog, as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me? Yes, cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped her broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Bobby's friend Bert came rushing to the burrow to find him. I saw a fox, said Scoot, in a real live fox. Bobby had never seen a fox. Wow, to Scholastica. Bye.
Once upon a time, there was a man and a woman who had a long, but to no avail, wished for a child. Finally, the woman came to believe that the good Lord would fulfill her wish. Through the small rear window of these people's house, they could see into a splendid garden that was filled with the most beautiful flowers and herbs. The garden was surrounded by a high wall, and no one dared enter, because it belonged to a sorceress who possessed great power and was feared by everyone. One day, the woman was standing at the window, and she saw a bed planted with the most beautiful Rapunzel. It looked so fresh and green that she longed for some. It was her greatest desire to eat some of the Rapunzel. This desire increased with every day, and not knowing how to get any, she became miserably ill.
Tadpoles. What can you see in this lake? Can you see some blobs of jelly? Can you see them black dots inside the jelly? Those dots are eggs. The dots grow, the jelly shrinks. The dots grow tails, they are baby tadpoles. The tadpoles are tiny, they stick to the weeds. They begin to swim. Here comes, quick, tadpoles, swim away. Here comes a big fish. The fish eats the tadpoles. The rest of them swim away and hide. Can you see some bumps on the tadpole? Those bumps will be legs. These tadpoles only have back legs. This tadpole has all its legs. Its tail is shrink. The tadpole has no tail. The tadpole kicks with its legs. It jumps out of the lake. But is it a tadpole? No, it's a frog.